Hello and welcome to a presentation from Team Business, a collaboration from Jake Bauman, Jordan McCracken, Levi Napastek, Ross McNaughton and Will McDonald. Our project tackles the issue of environmental sustainability in the tourism industry. We began with a thorough analysis of industry practices and trends, which confirmed our assumptions, principally that global tourism is on the rise, and with it comes growing emissions. In this time of COVID, however, we realised that we had a real opportunity to effect change here at home through the promotion of national tourism. It was clear that direct action was necessary, and after some brainstorming, we distilled our focus into one guiding question. How might we employ national tourism to create a wiser shift towards sustainable options? This question formed the backbone of our research moving forward and gave us the first tool in beginning to tackle the issue of sustainability.
For our user research, we conducted 2 rounds of surveys with a total of 64 responses ranging from different demographics, which included university students, parents, young adults, and retirees. From our user research, some key findings were that people only travelled domestically because it was cheaper, more accessible, or wanted a shorter holiday. And also, the 3 most important factors when choosing a destination was cost, weather, and time. To revisit our project question, how might we employ national tourism to create a wiser shift towards sustainable options? This is our domestic travel app that helps soothe the experience of travellers taking on Australia. It also features a distinct eco-rating system that tracks the impact of a person's journey. But what does it do? Well, it connects domestic tourists with attractions and destinations. It highlights travel destinations with a higher sustainability rating. It emphasises locations that sustain or help small communities, and it gives feedback based on your carbon footprint of your journey.
So now we'll go over our users. So to the side here is our archetype wheel, and we placed our 7 personas that we made based on their empathy maps in this wheel. So here are our user stakeholder maps. We created 7 of these because we had 7 personas, and each persona had relevant stakeholders to it. Eventually, we've refined this down to only 3 stakeholder maps. So these were the 3 stakeholder maps that we thought were the most relevant to our design direction. That is the cultural guide, the Airbnb host, and the family traveller. We'll go through those in more detail. So this is the cultural guide stakeholder map, and it has primary stakeholders like governing Aboriginal bodies and tourists with ranging amounts of knowledge. This is the stakeholder map for the Airbnb hostess, and it's got primary stakeholders like tourists and herself as a landlord. So understandably, our family traveller stakeholder map has primary stakeholders like family members and travel agents. Here's a look at our user journey map. As you can see, it breaks down into 7 basic steps. Stage 1 is the researching phase, where the user is going to research and prepare and share this with anyone they're traveling with. And this is the stage where they begin to interact with the app. The user then moves to the validation stage, where they validate the app. Is it a scam? Is it actually going to be useful to them in planning their holiday? Then the user will commit to using the app to plan their holiday because it is easier to use than conventional methods. Then, in the planning stage, the user looks for things like attractions and accommodation using the app, and it is easier to use the app than it would be otherwise. Then the user engages. All the bookings have happened as intended, and the user is needing of up-to-date information regarding arrival and departure. Here in the using stage, the user wants the whole experience to run smoothly and to be just as good as a trip overseas. Finally, in the reflection step, the user gives feedback both on the app and on the services they received through the app.
This user journey became the basis for our service blueprint, which explores the interactions and repercussions of our 3 personas within the tourist ecosystem. On the surface level, we have the physical tourist experience. Users plan and book out their journey, our cultural guide advertises and receives bookings, and our Airbnb host runs her accommodation. In this stage, everyone shares a similar issue, with outreach, planning and research, wanting to attract the right clientele or visit the right destination. In line with our project goals, these decisions are driven by sustainability, prioritising options with a positive environmental skew. Behind the scenes, we can see the inner workings of the information exchange. The facilitators, in this case our host and cultural guide, create content that drives users towards their destinations. All of the travelers' actions are facilitated by the app and translated into orders, bookings and travel plans which can be viewed by their respective owners. Even further behind the scenes, we can see how the app fulfills these processes. The app's owner company maintains the service, remains up to date on legislation, and ensures users are legitimate. They aid facilitators with advice on their listings and ensure everything is kept up to date, so users have all the information they need when they're travelling. Altogether, this creates a cohesive planning, booking and travelling system, reducing the stresses identified in our primary research while influencing users to make sustainable choices. The app is, however, just one part of an immense travel ecosystem, a multi-billion-dollar industry that thrives on people's inconsiderate travel habits. While disrupting this chain isn't our intention, we can't just fall in line either. The service will seek to engage with fringe groups, small organisations and local communities, driving a shift towards conscious tourism in a way that won't scare off users. The Globe Trender think tank predicts that, in future, travellers will plan their trips using search engines that fund the greater good. While we can't expect our solution to have a resolute effect, cruise ships will continue sailing and planes will keep on flying, if we can influence enough people to make small changes to their travel habits, we might just be able to get a hold on the carbon emission crisis.